nourishing the mind, body, and soul for the Asian diaspora. Have you eaten? Hi, hello, Happy Squad. This is Ji Bowlus again with another episode of Have You Eaten? And I'm so excited to have my new friend, Takhmina Mussayeva. Did I say that right?
Yeah, it's right. Takhmina.
Okay. So I met Takhmina not too long ago, but when we spoke, there's just something about her that spoke to me. And we were able to have this connection right away. And I thought a lot of the things and a lot of the messages that she had were just so beautiful. And also, I will fully admit my ignorance. So Takhmina is from Kazakhstan.
Correct.
Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan.
And I did not know that was an Asian country. So that's my ignorance. And I'm learning a lot. There's so many of us and so many Asian countries, and we're just so diverse. It's beautiful, right?
Yeah, it's very beautiful. And, some people don't know where Kazakhstan is. And I think when I first got to United States, for me, it was kind of a shock. What? You don't know my country? But then, I've realized that it's a very diverse country. So I also need to adapt myself to that. And I just became more polite and I started explaining people where that is and share my culture. And people were fascinated by that. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's okay to not know something, but as long as you are curious and you're open-minded and you want to learn, I think that's the important part of it. And then having people like you be patient and kind and be like, okay, so you didn't know? That's fine. Let me tell you about it. So I also thought your story and how you ended up in the US was so, I don't know, it was brave. And I mean, there's just so many layers to that story. Can you tell that story in your words?
Of course, yeah. So after high school, when we graduated, my mother just asked me a question where I want to be. And I just randomly said, well, I wish I could be in United States. And she said, what? United States? What are you talking about? You already graduated high school. And I think big thanks to my mom. I always will be grateful. And since that day, we started, looking for opportunities, how could I come to United States? And it took me 5 years. Yeah, I've been rejected so many times, and I think I remember there was a time when I was already engaged and I had my full time job, and I graduated from 4 year degree, and I just keep trying and trying, and then one day I said, okay, maybe it's not meant to be.
Mm.
But I think the resilience and the perseverance that I got from my mother is just, I could never stop because there was this like something igniting inside of me that told me you have to be somewhere else, you have to do
Mm.
things. And I think that's what's keep me going and driving every day when I feel like I cannot do it anymore. I just think, well, you've done so much, you need to continue. And I think that's a big motivation for me as well.
Yeah. And tell us about that drive to do something different. Like what was it that made you want to come here in particular and not like Australia or the UK or what was it about the US that really called you?
I think it wouldn't be a secret for anyone, the American dream. The famous American dream. And honestly, still to this day, I'm debating, is there American dream or it's just,
Mm.
you have those rose tinted glasses that you think America is pretty and amazing. It's a bunch of opportunities and things will be easy probably. And I think because I was built that way, my mom would always tell me that you meant for something bigger. uh, I would say from my family, I'm the first one who is in the United States,
Mm.
who drive a car, who has a degree in English, because none of my family members spoke English, and I didn't know English either. I could
Mm.
read, maybe I could write, but that drive, I think, is just it's just the passion have a big impact on the world. And I'm still till this day thinking, how can I make that impact? And every day I ask my question, whether it's at work, in my relationship, or just the daily life.
Yeah. Do you so how long have you been in the States?
10 years.
10 years. Okay, you speak English like you've been here for a very, very long time. So, yeah, and just the amount of persistence and just again the bravery. Like, I mean, you came here by yourself.
That's right.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
I came here by myself. I did have someone. So I'm from Kansas City originally.
Mm,
I can say that. Kansas City made me who I am right now. So I did have a relative in Kansas City, but we did fall apart after 7 months. And that's
mm,
where huge growth happened in my life when I've realized that I don't have anyone in the United States.
mm.
It's either I make it or I make it. There was never a second choice for me because
That's
I could go
amazing.
back. I could go back because I'm the oldest grandkid. I don't want to say I'm the most favorite one, but okay, I am. I'm the most favorite one. And I'm a daughter of single mom, and I'm the only one child.
Mm,
So when people ask me how did I do it, I think it was something inside, and yeah, the bravery. I was not brave before. I think I was not. I think United States showed me that you can be brave. You can be anything. If anyone can, why can I? So
that's
sometimes
interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, that's interesting because I would say that you were brave before the United States. I would say that everything that you set out to do, starting from when you were home in Kazakhstan, made you brave. You know, that I don't know. I don't think it was the United States that made you brave. I think it was you.
well, it's interesting insight. I've never thought about that because I just kind of compare my years in college or in school, what I've
Mhm.
done. I've done certain some good work, but what I've done in United States, I could when I entered United States and I went to college was 18
Mhm.
years old people and I was 22 with my degree. I was like hungry little kid. I just took every single candy in a jar in college, which is being ambassador and didn't know English, but I keep going to interviews. No, I want to work
Mm.
for you. I want to work for you. They're like, okay, this girl, we need to hire her. She doesn't want to work for us. And being involved in every organization because I didn't have that opportunity in my country. And
Mm.
participating, being volunteer, Stop Hunger Now, and helping homeless people and doing big projects. I was just so hungry
Yeah.
to. I was just so hungry that I think that the hunger inside of me, till this day, I always keep it. But there was a day when I totally burnt out,
Mm.
and
Yeah, tell us about that. Okay, first of all, girlfriend, you need to own the fact that it was all you. It was not the United. Yes, the United States does have a lot of opportunities that other countries may not have or may be different, might be different. But at the end of the day, it was you. Like you got yourself here. You got yourself, to push yourself and get to where you are. So I just want to applaud that and like give you props for that because that's huge. That's
thank
huge.
you. I really
Wow.
appreciate that. I think some people, I don't know, some people, but I struggle a lot to give myself credit. I usually say, oh, it's because of my mom or it's because of opportunities of people. Because people say, and I appreciate you bringing that up when they say, you did it. So this is something I've been working on lately that's saying, Takhmina, you did it.
Yeah.
Even the fact that I'm able to speak English and I'm able to sit in a room with full of native speakers. That's honestly a lot. It's a lot of pressure. And I don't think a lot of people understand how much pressure it is, especially me working in the advertising world.
Mhm.
It's a world full of sharks. I chose that world, right? but it's like every day you have to make that effort. So yeah.
Yeah, that's right. We both worked in advertising, or you still work in
Yeah.
advertising. Um, so let's just go back to what you were talking about in terms of the burnout,
Yeah.
right? Like, yeah, everything that you were talking about coming here, all like, putting yourself through school, having to learn English, like, even after 7 months, maybe you had a cousin or you had a relative here for 7 months, but after that, you were pretty much on your own. That's so much. And so how did you take care of yourself during that time?
Um, I didn't.
Okay,
I didn't.
that's honest.
I had three jobs. I was a full time student. I I just was constantly involved, and honestly, I did not take care of my mental health, and I didn't know
Mm,
that I supposed to take care of mental health because in my culture, mental
mm,
health. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Just put your shoes and go work.
yeah,
You gotta
yeah.
be a hard worker, especially. I think that sometimes chase me that being an immigrant, it's a stigma, right? If you're an immigrant, you have to work hard. It's not true. I think it's the beliefs that we have for ourselves. Do you have to
Mm,
work hard? Maybe you can just sometime ease or ask help or just take a time for yourself. So
yeah.
the burnout happened just right before I needed to graduate from college. And just one day I woke up and I wasn't able to get up. And
Mm,
we went to ER and called 911. There wasn't any major um, diagnosis or anything like that. People were just saying, well, we really don't know what's going on with you, like the doctors, the therapist. And then I thought I'm not going to make it. I thought that
mm,
I was just ended up in a bed, not having the degree because I was supposed to graduate from honors, fight at a kappa, and from college, so I could go to university because there was a bright future ahead. And I drove myself to that, yes, because
mm,
there's a. It's great to be ambitious, but I think it's good to think about yourself. And again, it does come to the culture where you have to work hard and you have to prove and make your parents be proud of you.
mm.
Forget who you actually are and what do you actually want.
Yeah.
So,
It's like
yeah,
you have to remind yourself, have you eaten, right?
exactly. Have you eaten?
Have you
Because
eaten?
Uh, I want to tell you that there would be days when I would be having a lunchbox in my hands and I would be
Mm,
moving from class to class. So I would be eating while I'm walking because
right.
one building was on the right side, another building was on the left side. That would give me 5 minutes to walk, 5 minutes to eat while I'm walking. I had no
Mhm.
break. Where would I have breaks? I had three jobs and I
I'm
was a full time
tired
student.
just, like, thinking about your life back then, Takhmina, like, oh my gosh, like, of course you didn't wanna get out of bed. You were probably exhausted.
I think it's more that not that I didn't want to get up from the bed. I wasn't able to because
Mm.
um, I had almost something related to vertigo, and I was constantly dizzy.
Oh.
I had a high fever, and it was a lot of symptoms that people
Mm.
thought it could be cold, it could be flu, it could be strep, but that
Yeah.
really, really damaged and affected my nervous system and
Mhm.
my metabolism and my immune system. So it was a major breakdown. And, there was a time I was just thinking, and I like reflecting, self reflecting. That's what I do on weekends. I'm an overthinker, so I think a lot.
Mm.
And I was just thinking, uh, what happened that time? And I think
Mm.
that's when I kind of lost myself because I only saw myself as this overachiever. And
Yeah.
once I realized that after that mental breakdown that I had, I cannot do that anymore. I have to eat, I have to take care of myself. I need to probably quit one job or another job. But then it was like, okay, so if I quit one job, how am I going to pay my school? It was a lot of factors, but I made
Yeah. So
it.
tell us about that. Like, tell us about the switch, right? So it's like, it sounds like you got to a point where you told yourself, like, I need to take care of myself, right? And so I can totally relate to the not taking care of yourself and the constant chatter of you need to be successful, you need to do this, you need to do that. And then, also as a immigrant and a child of an immigrant, this immense pressure. My dad, brought us here for a better life, and I need to make him proud. I can't disappoint him, and there's this pressure. And when you talked about the vertigo, I can relate to that too because I actually suffer from anxiety, and um, I remember going into a bathroom stall and feeling like so dizzy. Um, so
Yeah.
everything you're saying, girl, I totally relate. But let's talk about like how the moment that you decided, like, you know what, I need to take care of myself. Like,
Yeah,
what was that switch? Like, do you remember? Like, do you remember that moment?
I do. And I mean, I'll be very vulnerable right now, I guess, and very honest because after all, our mission here is mental health as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So bringing awareness. I was sitting in the parking lot. Oh no, that day I woke up and I've been feeling like for a few days that I would wake up and asking myself, what is the purpose of this life? Because
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't be an achiever anymore. I didn't know I couldn't be that A student anymore. So I was lost. What is my identity? Who am I? Because if I cannot do this, which I'm used to for 4 years, now I have to be someone different. I had to have different personality right now. And I was very harsh on myself. So then I finished classes at university and I was sitting in the parking lot and just constantly crying and
Mm-hmm.
not understanding what's going on. Absolutely. I felt so lonely and I'm very social.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a social butterfly. It doesn't matter how many people were around me. I felt so lonely and not heard, not understood. And I started looking for resources. At that time, I wasn't really trusting the therapy or anything. So um, I went to, I think, one of the therapists here in the United States, and she said, well, maybe we should put you on the medication. That was absolutely no to me. I don't know why. Maybe it's the cultural thing, but absolutely no. And she was explaining to me how the chemicals in my brain works and how the anxiety comes in panic attacks. That's where I first
Mm-hmm.
time faced it. And I started looking for the community in Russian language. So being in the United States, I found a community that go on retreats, speak about mental health, do different practices, meditations, but they are in the United States, but the main person who does the retreats, he's from Kazakhstan.
Oh.
So that's how I met people, the community, and I started taking courses for psychology. I started going on retreats, and I think I would use my credit card for those retreats because I said, I don't care what's going to happen. I need to heal myself.
Mm-hmm.
So my first retreat was in Ohio. It was 10 women. We gathered together and we started speaking about mental health and uh, what our parents told us and how it affected us.
Mm-hmm.
And that led to a lot of anger, a lot of anger. And it was a lot of rage inside of me because all this time I thought it's my fault. I did something wrong. Why am I this way? Why can't I just be, pretty, perfect, amazing girl? How something was speaking in my head about this all the time.
Yeah.
And after that, when I realized that I can't go to retreats all the time because they cost money, I started seeking for resources and I went to church.
Mm.
Uh, I am from Muslim family, so that was also hard because it means breaking the culture or the family traditions. But I had to because I was very depressed. I had anxiety and panic attacks. I had a lot of very dark thoughts. So I would go to Celebrate Recovery every Tuesday, and people would speak about their hurts, hangups, and
Mm.
there was people with addiction. There was people with just dark past. And but there was a one thing that was common in all of us: the pain, the pain that we
Mm.
have inside. And that pain was screaming on us and bleeding. So we had to share about it.
Yeah, it sounds like, I mean, what I'm hearing is community was a big factor in your mental health and your wellness journey, right?
That's right. Yes.
Yeah. So what do you do today? Are you still part of groups, or like where, like, tell me about like being in advertising too, right? Have you found groups or organizations that you feel really connected to?
I haven't. I'm still on Discovery. I know there's a Asian in advertising. I'm still reading sometime. What are they posting? I know that I
Mhm.
work in Omnicom and they have this big Asian group. But whenever they have the meetings via Teams, I'm always busy with my meetings, unfortunately. So I
Ah,
cannot join. And so right now, I'm not part of any community.
well, you're part
Uh,
of ours now.
yes,
You're part of
that's
the Hello Happy
amazing.
Squad now. And also, I'll do a shameless plug. But one of the things that we're actually going to be um, putting out there is something called Happy Hour.
Okay.
And it's going to be a community led kind of community events. So IRL and virtual.
Oh,
So yeah. So once that rolls out, I mean, you're in, girl. You're part of it. You're part of our community already.
that's amazing. That's I really love that. I just want to bring also the fact that when you become a part of community, it also has to
Mhm.
be balance because then
Mm.
because you're very hurt and you don't know what you feel, you just become so dependent on that. But
Mm.
those people also have lives. They also have families, and so then I had to learn also how to control my feelings, how to control my thoughts. So once I come, because you have to become your own community as well.
True. Yeah. You know, the way that I kind of look at things is acts of service.
Yeah.
So that a lot of times gets me out of my own BS that goes on in my head is like, how can I be of service to somebody else?
Yeah.
And that's really helped me. Like, what's helped you?
What helped me in terms of what do you mean by that?
Like, you said, you know, you have to find community within yourself, right?
Yeah.
And um, so rather than depending on other people all the time. And I think sometimes when you're in it, it's really hard to do
Hmm.
that, right? So
Yeah.
you consciously have to think like, okay, um, yeah, you have to consciously think about like, how do I find community within myself? So, you know, some of the things that I do, like I meditate,
Hmm.
yoga practice is a big part of my life. Not as much right now, but it was. And then I also think a lot about being of service. So
Yeah.
how could I be of service? And so even creating Hello Happy, you know, we're in fundraising mode, and one of the things that's hard for me is asking other people to help me.
Hmm.
And so what I've had to do is switch that thinking because it's not about me. Like I'm not creating Hello Happy for me. I'm doing it because I want to have acts of service for the world
Hmm.
and community. And so that's really helped kind of switch my thinking a
Yeah.
bit. So I was just curious if you had any kind of tools or ways that you do that.
I think for me is it's still a work in progress.
Mm.
The fact that actually I do want to have my own podcast and I want to
Mm.
very openly speak about mental health. At some point on my Instagram, I would be influencing people and openly speaking about every possible traumas and what's the outcome of it. So I think that was my serving to the people.
Mm. Mhm.
I did that in Russian language because we're from the same culture, which is Soviet Union.
Yeah.
It's a culture. Our parents were surviving,
Yeah.
so maybe um, it would be Soviet Union and Asia as well, right? Versus if I would be speaking in English about some certain habits or traditions, it wouldn't resonate with them. So I went to Russian language.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I think wherever I go, I just try to tap into someone's heart and just kind of ask them literally simple question. What are you feeling today?
Mhm.
Because, it's sometimes people, we're all on the go, especially an advertising agency. And if you have that just moment, just 2 minutes chat, are you okay?
Right.
And bring in awareness about it because some people they tend to avoid and they say, no, I'm strong, I can do this, it's a work environment, I don't want to speak about mental health. But sometimes someone make my day by asking this question, or I can make someone's day by also asking the same questions. And there was a part when I was a member of Change Your Algorithm. They're
Mhm.
based in Los Angeles. Joe, a person who leads that, is my friend. I found him through Clubhouse. So they have also free mental health classes.
Mm.
And I was a couple of times a facilitator. And I would bring awareness as well and say, there's a free classes, and he's a big advocate for Asian community as well. So
That's
we would
awesome.
just bring awareness about those classes because some people think that mental health costs money in terms of classes or how to heal yourself. No, there's
Mhm.
a tons of
Mhm.
resources out there,
Yeah.
and I really want to, and everything in my power is every time speak about mental health where it's appropriate to speak about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think to your point, there are a ton of resources. A lot of times, though, people don't want to take advantage of them for whatever stigma or cultural or personal, feelings. And then there's also a lot of people don't know about it. And so it's really great that you have a platform that you're speaking about it and I think also being vulnerable and sharing, like you said, in the appropriate times and the appropriate
Yeah.
levels with boundaries, but it creates that community of I'm not alone,
Mhm.
and I think that's important too. And I'll speak for myself. That was important for me in my healing journey was knowing that I wasn't alone. And so when I am vulnerable or I share certain things, it's because I want other people to feel like they're not alone, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, so tell me about some of these other resources. So because when we spoke last time, you were practicing some like EFT and some of
Mhm.
these really cool things that I think not a lot of people know about. So
Mhm.
tell us a little bit about some of the things that you use.
Of course. Um, I think for me, what's worked in the past and right now as well, is breath work. It's
Mm.
just, very simple. Um, it's a square breath work, right? It's you inhale, you count on four, hold your breath, and then you inhale, exhale. Um, Also hold your breath till four, and then you again hold the breath, and then you inhale and you just repeat. It's kind of like a square.
Yeah.
So that's ground you really well. I also use oils. It's lavender or eucalyptus, anything
Mm.
that can ground you. Tapping, yes, when I do feel nervous, especially if I need to speak up or, present my ideas at work. I do, the tapping is basically just tapping a few times here, just main, points of your body. It can be here, but sometimes I kind of innovate to myself and I just like tap into my heart because I'm trying to, calm it down. Kundalini yoga is one of the
Mm.
amazing, amazing practices of my life. That's where the biggest breakthroughs happen in my life because
Mm.
because your body, your soul is connected. So our body stores all the memories, and when we are triggering certain points of the body that you haven't practiced or you haven't stretched, the emotions comes out, the somatic
Yeah.
breath work, the somatic exercises.
Because our
And
body holds that stuff in.
yes,
It,
yes,
it
the
holds
energy,
trauma and it holds energy.
yes,
Yeah. And you have to release it.
you have to release it. And sometimes I think you don't even remember that something happened to you. It doesn't have to be anything tragically traumatic because you have a right to feel the way how you feel. And if something even for some people it seems like a little triggering point, for you it's a lot, so you have to
Mm.
respect that and you have to say graciously, yes, I'm okay, I'm safe.
Yeah.
I think the uh, brain dumping where you just write everything that comes in your mind.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be anything beautiful, how people write journaling. No, it's just simply, I feel annoyed. I want to eat. I'm
Uh-huh.
craving something. Oh, there's a noise. Everything. It's dumping, like brain dumping, basically.
Like stream of consciousness,
Yeah,
just writing it out. Yeah.
yeah. And definitely the most favorite one is dancing. Uh,
Oh.
I love dancing, and through dancing, I was able to release the traumas about the body image, about the looks, and
Mm.
because certain part of our bodies it's responsible for traumas or
Mm.
for like for example, right side is everything related to your father, left side is everything related to your mother. So in our body, we have a right side and left side. So we have pieces from mom and a dad in our body and in our genes and cells.
Mm.
So it's all kind of connected. So we connected to our parents. Sometimes we store our parents' trauma
Yep.
without knowing that.
Yeah. I've actually heard that before. Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes it does not belong to you, and you don't
Mhm.
need to carry that weight because if you feel your shoulders are tense sometimes, that means you took something that does not belong to you. So
Mm.
by dancing, shaking up, tapping, sometimes have you felt like anger? You just feel
Mhm.
angry, just clapping, I don't know, just like stomping on the feet, everything helps because body is like a cycle of emotions that helps you to release all the trauma. And I think the body work is, everybody needs to know about it.
Yeah. And you know what's really great about everything that you're talking about? And, when people talk about mental health, they immediately think of like psychiatry, therapy. And the truth is, there's so many modalities. And if you're not ready to seek therapy or whatever, and by no means am I a professional or giving any advice right now, but um, the point is there's resources out there. There's ways that you can take care of yourself. And so that's what I love about hearing about all the things that you're doing to take care of you. Um, but again, of course, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a professional. All I can really do is talk
Yeah.
about my experiences and share experiences from my guests. But yeah, I am with you there. Like, I personally see a therapist, and which is amazing. But I also do other things, just like you. And One thing that really helps me is Reiki.
The
A lot of times when
energy.
I'm feeling really overwhelmed, I'll just put my one hand over my heart and one hand on my stomach and just like you breathe.
Yeah. Yeah. Breathing is,
Um,
people say it's like a drug. When you breathe, sometimes breathing can take you to places.
yeah.
Have you heard about that? So, for
Yeah.
example, if you do, very dynamic breathing,
Yes.
so yeah, I've been in those retreats as well. Of course, you have to do this with caution. There should be a facilitator who would guide you. Ecstatic dancing. Ecstatic dancing is basically you just, putting the mask on so people
Uh-huh.
cannot see you, so you cannot see people, and you just jump like there's no life out there. You just jump all your emotions and your feelings and the anger, and you can scream, you can jump. Honestly, also singing. I don't have a
Mm.
voice, but the car karaoke helps a
Uh-huh.
lot. When
I love that.
you're driving, I love listening singer Sia. I can
Mhm.
really resonate with her. So, the Unstoppable song. Why
Yeah.
not? Who can?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you just sing your heart, and because our throat chakra has also can store a lot of emotions, things that we haven't said in
Right.
childhood that we could, things we
Right.
could say, protect ourselves, and we could stand our ground. Say it right now. And that also brings to speaking to yourself in the mirror.
Oh my gosh. I actually went somewhere. I did like a retreat, and one of the exercises was talking to yourself in the mirror, but saying things like, "You're beautiful, you're
Mhm.
intelligent."
Mhm.
And it was so hard. It was so
Yes.
hard. I mean, right now I can say it easily because I'm not looking at myself, I'm looking at
Yeah.
you. But yeah, and I just broke down and cried.
Yeah.
Like, and I think part of that was not hearing that growing up,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And to your point earlier, it's about you becoming your own community and you loving yourself, you asking yourself, have you eaten, right? And
Exactly.
um, yeah, but I love that exercise now though.
Yeah, that exercise is very powerful. I think for the first time when my therapist gave me that assignment
Mhm.
uh, to accept myself fully, she told me I have to get naked in the mirror.
When you're alone.
Of course. Of course. In the room alone,
Yeah.
and she said, just look in the mirror and say, I accept myself. It was very hard.
Yeah.
I would come back to her and I say, I'm not doing it. She's like, well, you got to come back and do it. So I came back to the mirror and I couldn't. I cried a lot, like you said, and
Yeah.
right now, sometime when I look in the mirror, I say, you're amazing. You're just going to rock this world. You're going to rock this day.
Oh, I love
And
that.
and it doesn't matter if people say something about you or there's a little voice in your head or whatever your friends think about you. What do you think about yourself?
Right.
I feel like when I say you're going to become your own community, you got to speak to yourself, with
Mhm.
yourself.
Well, you have to be your
Just
own friend.
exactly. So
Yeah.
I love road trips. Literally,
Mhm.
just I could drive 14 hours and I don't
Me
care.
too. I love road trips too.
Yeah, I love it. Absolutely. So, uh, and on that road trips, I do speak with my inner child.
Mm.
Can sound a little abnormal, but I imagine like she's sitting right here with me.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, okay, so are you ready for this adventure, little Takhmina? And
Oh.
she's just like, yeah, of course I'm ready. I mean, it's just like in my imagination.
Does
But
she ever have to stop to go to the bathroom?
yes, absolutely. All the time. Literally, like literally. And she wants snacks and she wants to drink drink water all the time.
Yeah,
Very,
you're like,
very
"Take a
spoiled
nap."
child. Exactly. Very spoiled child. I don't know what to do with her sometimes.
Oh my god, I love that. Yeah, I love long road trips too. I actually
Yeah.
drive down to LA from the Bay Area quite often, and I love that stretch of land. Just me, myself, the
Yeah.
radio, my
Yeah.
podcasts, and there's just something like it's different now. Being by myself is not lonely the way it used to be.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that, because I think that brings to the point, you're not lonely, you're just alone.
Yeah,
And
exactly. So very different.
I remember there was a days when you asked me like what happened, that moment, what broke you down a little bit, or and I
Mhm.
remember I was sitting in a room and I felt so lonely that like
Mm,
it's just this like deep dark loneliness. So right
yeah.
now I'm in Miami, Florida, and I'm okay. I'm absolutely okay. And I take myself on dates. I just, like, okay, today we have a kayaking date. Let's go. Okay, let's go.
Oh, that's so cool. I love that. I love that so much.
I buy myself flowers. Uh, I I'm not too much like into shopping, even though I love fashion and I'm pretty good
Mhm.
at it, what people say. But I do love things like flowers and coffees and take myself on little dates, and, just write myself letters. Just say I love you to yourself. Why not? And that's a healing of my inner child, because inner
Mm.
child is responsible for creativity. If my inner child is angry and mad, I don't think there's going to be any growth in my career at some point. Because if she gets mad, the inner child inside, it's like, okay, what happened? It's,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
gotta you just gotta accept that you do have that child inside, and there's nothing wrong with that.
yeah. Oh, wow. I feel like we covered so much, and I am so grateful for your vulnerability, just being you here, and sharing so much of yourself.
Thank
And
you.
I forgot that you were from Miami. I need to go to Miami.
You should. You should.
I
You
do.
should
I
really
love
come
that
here.
city. I love that city so much. The two times I went there were for a marathon and a half marathon, but now I just want to go and just hang out.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna get hot because June,
hmm
July is coming. Even today is like 87. Um,
Yeah,
but
we're gonna have to do a happy hour in
yes,
Miami one day.
absolutely,
That would be
and
amazing. Let's
yeah,
manifest that because I want to
yes,
manifest happy hour in Miami. Yes,
that's
we're
great.
gonna make it happen. We're gonna make it happen, and you and I are gonna sit in the same room, um, and finally meet in person in real life.
I Yes, that's. I think that sounds amazing, and honestly, the fact that we are sitting together right now, even online, it does give me the hope
Mm,
and that confirmation that everything happens for a reason. The way how my mental health went a little bit bad, and then how I decided to take care of it, and many years later I'm sitting with you and speaking about it.
yeah.
It means so much. And if this gonna help at least one person, just to bring that awareness that even it doesn't matter if you're at the lowest point of your life, you can get out of it.
hmm Yeah.
And I think I'm very grateful that Hello Happy exists, and I really wish that it's going to grow, continue touching many hearts, which I'm pretty sure it will. I'm very grateful for this interaction that I have with you. It's just, gives me that also inspiration that why not? Why can't I go and speak about it everywhere where it's appropriate, of course?
Yeah. Yeah, I love that, and I'm going to be rooting for you for your podcast. And yeah, we're going to have to manifest that and make that happen too.
Yeah,
You could totally do
absolutely.
it. You've done so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, it's time to wrap up, which I'm really sad, but at the same time, I'm so grateful for our new friendship. I'm so grateful for you being here and being a guest. Um, and yeah, so this is G, and may your stomachs and your heart be full. And until next time, um, we'll see you later.
Thank you.
Hello, Happy Fam. Thank you so much for joining us today. Make sure to subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell. And until next time, I hope your bellies and your hearts stay full.